...2025 is finally coming to an end. And as we sit there and start looking at the year in our rear view mirror, I would like to talk about where we've been. And not just this past year, although there have been some very interesting and significant things that have happened this year, but kind of, moving us through a cycle, because we've been moving through a cycle. And we're going to look at this from a numerological perspective. So welcome. I'm Dr. Rita Louise, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. And I'm so glad to have you all here today. And so from a numerological perspective, this is a 9-year. And a 9 is considered the ending of a cycle. In numerology, you take a number, like a year, and you add all of the digits together until you have a single digit 1 through 9. So whether it is your personal year, where you take your birthday, your full birthday, and add all those numbers together to get a single digit, and that is your personal number, and this is the universal number, the global number, where we're just taking the calendar year 2025, and 2025 was a 9-year. The number 9 Good. 9 years ago to where you are now, who you were as a person, where you were individually in your journey called life. Because I'm sure if you reflect on that for a minute, you will find that who you were is not the same person as who you are now. And again, a 9-year represents completion, the ending of a cycle. You have the opportunity to release and let go, or a culmination of events that again started in 2017, although you might have had multiple cycles leading you to a place. And again, this is the opportunity to complete. And a lot of people sit there and go, oh, well, yeah, the year is ending. But this cycle, this 9 cycle, didn't just start last week, or it didn't just start last month. It started in January of last year. And so we have been operating in that number, in that timeline since January. And so, a lot of people, when they sit there and look at something like this, they often think, how is it related to work? Because that is something that many of us base our life on. But it's not just about our work. It can be about our past role or our identity to ourselves or other people, that we're no longer fitting into what other people perceive who and what we are. It could be about our relationships and friends. It could be about our old beliefs. We could have outdated personal goals or outdated dreams that we're ready to let go and bring something else new into our lives. But regardless, who we were is not the same as who we are now as we're getting ready to move into this new cycle. And as we get to this final part, this ending, some of this clearing and letting go and shifting and refining and redefining ourselves can leave us feeling a little bit emotional. It can leave us experiencing some loss. I mean, because it really is the death of the old, whether it's a hobby or a career or even our social circles might be changing, leaving us, a little bit confused and out in the dark. So these have been some of my observations that I've seen a lot of shifting in people this year. I feel that people's intuition has, and I'm going to say has been louder this year, or people are paying much more attention to their gut feeling and honoring and respecting what they think and what they feel inside. And that includes using and having boundaries and saying no when it's appropriate or saying yes when it's appropriate. And I've seen this a lot in relationships where people are seeing beneath, and I'm going to say the fog of the relationship, and as well as world events with more clarity so that they can make decisions for themselves instead of being in the pack and in the group and, well, we're doing this, but not really wanting to, having that clarity of like, well, y'all can go, but I'm just going to hang out by myself because that feels better to me. And having the boundaries and having the chutzpah to listen to and honor yourself. And I think that is the key to where I've seen the most change this year is people learning to love and honor themselves and hold on to their integrity. With that said, I feel like people are way less willing to put up with the bullshit, with the BS. That's what I wrote down, BS. They're way less willing to put up with that. And they would much rather stay at home, be alone, than be in contact with energy or people or situations that don't feel comfortable to them, that don't give them joy, that doesn't bring them happiness. And it's interesting because I've had a lot of people say, well, I've really kind of internalized, I've really am not really connecting with the world around me. But I feel like that is part of this cycle and this process of us identifying who we are and what we want. And once we're in that place, once we can figure that out, we'll be more willing to step outside of our cocoon. Okay, I don't know what that is to not cling on to where you were. Because we're moving into a new vibration. And so clinging on to the past, hanging on to people that are no longer serving you, hanging on to places, hanging on to situations that are no longer serving you are going to keep you from being open to moving into the new vibration of the 2026 year. Now, I'm going to assume that somewhere inside of you, you already have an awareness of what that is or what the thing is that you still might be holding on to. And I'm not saying that you are, but there is that possibility that it is there. And you know what it is. That friendship that really isn't working for you, but you just don't end it. That kind of thing. It's like, but you haven't done anything about it. So maybe it's time to surrender to it and let it go instead of fighting to keep it. this year, many people have really been trusting the process and allowing things to happen. So allow this cycle to complete. It will give you the opportunity to level up and bring in the new year. And so that's where we've been. I'm going to announce now there will not be a show next week because that is Christmas Day. And I love you guys, but no show next week. But I will be back on New Year's Day. So I will be here 1/1/2026. And that day is the launch of the new year. It is a 1 year. And I'm doing something very special. Other than there's going to be some formatting changes that are going to be happening to the show, but they're all good. They've been kind of in the works for a while. But I figured I would launch them with the new year. But I'm actually going to have a special guest. It's a guy named Thomas Miller that I've known for a very long time, and he's an astrologer. And so we're going to be playing around with the astrological look for the new year, as well as bringing in some of the numerology of the 1 year to kind of get you lined up for where we're moving to. I am really excited about it. And so if you haven't tuned into the show live in a long time, I would love for you to come and bring in the energy and bring in the vibration of the new year. Okay. And as always, this show is brought to you by soulhealer.com. So if you would like to schedule a private consultation with me, please do go to my website, check it out. There's tons of articles there, but it's also where you can reach out to me to set up an appointment to get a one-on-one consultation with me, whether you want to talk about your health or your relationships or you're stuck at work or pretty much anything that you might need to get some guidance and clarity on. soulhealer.com. And I'm just going to jump to the chase. I would really appreciate if I could get this to work. If you would go and check out my different social media channels, YouTube, Substack. I've been posting a lot to Substack, Twitter and Rumble, and like and subscribe to those channels. I would love you to death. You can also subscribe to my newsletter by going to soulhealer.com. Too many buttons. And there is a link on there that just says newsletter, and it gives you a chance to just put your email in. That's all I want is an email. soulhealer.com. Okay. So I'm just going to be real. I have not felt good all day today and pretty much spent 6 hours on the sofa. So I'm going to, hopefully we can get through this quick. If I start feeling really queasy again, I am going to sign off early. I love you guys. Merry Christmas. I'll see you New Year's. But I'm just being real. I mean, I'm not a sickly person. And so when I don't feel good, I don't feel good. Actually, I think I got food poisoning. And that's why I just have been very nauseated all day. So, but so far, so good. So far, so good. So we might make it through it. Cross your fingers.